Commander Alex Riker had spent most of his life among the stars, navigating human-controlled space with precision and caution. He was used to new worlds, strange creatures, and complicated political situations, but nothing had prepared him for Zephyria. The planet was a trading hub on the edge of human space, a place where merchants from hundreds of species mingled, and technology and culture collided in chaotic harmony. From the surface, the planet seemed ordinary, with sprawling cities and vast marketplaces. But up close, it was alive with color, movement, and a constant hum of energy that never ceased, even in the middle of the night. Alex had been sent here on a diplomatic mission, though his reputation as a decorated explorer often made him the go-to person for situations that teetered between negotiation and danger. Today, he had been walking through one of Zephyria's larger markets, trying to blend in among the various species, but blending was never easy for a human. His tall, solid frame and slightly outdated exploration uniform stood out immediately. Merchants called out in dozens of languages, some offering exotic spices, others mechanical parts, and some even curious trinkets that looked alive. He paused at a stall that sold crystalline devices, small gadgets that hummed softly when touched. As he examined a peculiar orb that pulsed with soft blue light, a voice called from nearby, clear and melodic. "Curious, aren't you?" Alex turned, startled. The speaker was an alien woman standing a few feet away. She was unlike anything he had seen. Her skin shimmered faintly under the market lights, shifting subtly between shades of teal and violet. Her eyes were larger than human norms, golden and luminescent, reflecting the activity around her. She wore a flowing outfit that seemed alive, the fabric moving as if it had a will of its own. Yes, it's interesting," Alex replied cautiously, straightening his uniform. He had learned early that in situations like this, politeness could save more than skill. "I am Leora," she said, bowing slightly. Her voice was calm and warm, but there was a confidence in it that made Alex pause. "I notice you are human. Rare to see you wandering the market alone. I hope I am not interrupting your studies." Alex managed a small smile. "No, not at all. I enjoy observing new technology, learning how others live." Leora tilted her head, studying him as if weighing something invisible. "You have the look of someone used to responsibility, someone accustomed to danger." Alex's eyebrows lifted slightly. "You could say that. I'm an explorer and sometimes a diplomat." A faint smile crossed Leora's face. "A man of many duties, that is admirable. Tell me, Commander Riker, would you like to see something more personal? I have a home in the floating city above Zephyria." "It is unlike any market, I assure you." Alex hesitated. Invitations from strangers were rarely safe, especially when those strangers were alien diplomats with unknown motives. Yet there was something about Leora that seemed genuine. Perhaps it was her calm confidence, or perhaps it was simply curiosity, the same curiosity that had driven him to the stars in the first place. "I suppose I could visit," he said finally. "It would be good to understand more about your culture." Leora's smile widened just enough to seem natural and not overly calculating. "Excellent. I will have my transport ready. Follow me." They moved through the market together, Leora's presence drawing attention naturally. Some species regarded her with familiarity, bowing or nodding respectfully. Others stared, curious about the human who walked alongside such a figure. Alex kept his senses alert. He had explored uncountable planets, and experience had taught him that appearances could be deceiving. The transport waited at the edge of the city. It was sleek, elongated, and hovering slightly above the ground. Alex had seen many alien crafts, but this one was different. It seemed alive, as if it was an extension of Leora herself. He stepped in carefully, feeling the soft hum of the engines beneath his feet. The interior was luminous, with light panels adjusting automatically to their movements. Comfortable seats molded to their shapes, and a subtle scent filled the cabin, calming and floral. As the craft ascended above Zephyria, Alex leaned back slightly, studying the view. The floating city below was a marvel of engineering, with buildings suspended in the clouds, connected by bridges of light. Ships moved between them like fireflies in a storm, trading goods and messages. Leora watched him silently, her golden eyes reflecting the cityscape. "Do you often explore new worlds, Commander?" she asked. "I do," Alex said. "It is my duty, but also my choice. Humans have always been curious, always explorers, always seeking more." A faint smile appeared on Leora's lips. Yes, curiosity is a strong force. It seems your species carries it proudly. They spoke little for the next few minutes. The craft moved smoothly through the clouds, guided by some unseen force. Alex's attention drifted to small details, security panels subtly integrated into the walls, sensors he could feel more than see. Nothing overt, nothing dangerous, but it was unusual for a diplomat's personal transport to have so many hidden systems. When Leora finally spoke again, her voice was calm but measured. "You must wonder why I invited you, Commander. It is rare for Veridani to extend invitations so openly." Alex studied her carefully. "I do, but I am willing to see what you wish to show me." Leora's eyes glimmered. "Good understanding begins with observation, and humans are fascinating observers, aren't they?" He nodded. Humans were indeed observers, adaptable and resilient. He had survived more situations than he could count, relied on quick thinking and intuition to navigate worlds that were dangerous, alien, and unpredictable. If there was anything he had learned, it was that even when faced with beings more advanced or stronger, humanity's strength lay in creativity, empathy, and adaptability. The craft finally docked in a smooth motion atop a hovering platform above the city. Leora led him inside her home, and Alex immediately noticed the difference between public and private spaces. The mansion was both organic and mechanical, with walls that seemed to breathe softly and floors that adjusted to the weight of steps. Alien flora filled the halls, some glowing faintly, others moving gently as if alive. "Welcome," Leora said softly, gesturing for him to look around. "This is my home. Here we blend life and technology, nature and design. Everything is connected." Alex moved cautiously, but with genuine fascination. He touched a wall panel that rippled under his hand and watched as it projected a holographic map of the floating city. He marveled at the integration of natural and artificial systems. It was elegant and practical, a testament to the Veridani's ingenuity. "It's incredible," Alex said. "You've combined so many elements seamlessly." Leora's smile was warm. "We believe in harmony, Commander. But also in vigilance. One must always be aware." Alex's instincts pricked again. There was a duality here, something charming, inviting, but with an undercurrent of caution. He reminded himself to stay alert, to observe, and to remember that diplomacy often had hidden layers. She led him to a sitting area filled with soft, floating cushions and a central table that displayed shifting holograms. Leora gestured for him to sit. "I wanted to show you our culture, our way of life, and perhaps to learn about yours. Curiosity is mutual, yes?" Alex nodded. "It is." As he studied the holograms and listened to Leora explain aspects of Veridani society, he felt a mixture of awe and suspicion. Every gesture, every explanation seemed perfectly designed to comfort and impress, but his training taught him to watch for the hidden currents. Hours passed. Conversation flowed easily, and Alex found himself genuinely intrigued by the alien culture. And yet a small voice in the back of his mind kept warning him. The Veridani were unknown. Their motives, their methods, were layered and precise. Just as he was about to comment on the architecture, a subtle shift in the room caught his attention. A small panel in the floor slid silently open, revealing a faint glow beneath. He pretended to adjust his seat, casually glancing at it. Leora noticed but said nothing. She simply smiled, as if aware of his attention but not threatened. Alex realized something important. This visit, as friendly as it seemed, was also a test. The Veridani were always calculating, and even an innocent invitation could have deeper significance. But he also knew something equally important. Humans were never truly helpless. Observation, intuition, and adaptability were tools as powerful as any weapon. He leaned back, observing the room, the holograms, and Leora herself. He would remain cautious, but he would also learn. Humans had survived countless challenges in space by relying on cleverness and courage. If the Veridani had tests, Alex was determined to meet them head-on, not with aggression, but with intelligence. The evening continued, and as the Zephyrian sun set below the floating city, Alex realized that this visit, simple as it seemed, would mark the beginning of something far greater than diplomacy. It was a step into the unknown, a chance to understand an alien mind, and to prove that human curiosity and ingenuity could hold their own among the stars. And deep inside, he knew that whatever lay ahead, the first part of this journey had already begun. The morning light in Leora's floating home was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Soft beams of sun filtered through translucent walls that shifted in color with the time of day, casting gentle reflections on the floor. The house seemed alive, each movement, each glow perfectly synchronized with the rhythm of the city outside. Alex rose from the cushions where he had slept, stretching and taking in the serene atmosphere. It was quiet, almost too quiet for his liking, yet there was a sense of purpose in every detail, as if the house itself had been built to anticipate every visitor's step. Leora was already awake, standing near a wall that rippled and shimmered like liquid glass. Her eyes met his, golden and calm, yet something in them made Alex pause. There was knowledge there, not just of etiquette or diplomacy, but of observation and calculation. "Good morning, Commander," she said, her voice as melodic as ever. "I trust you rested well?" "I did," Alex replied, cautious but polite. "Your home, it's remarkable. I've never seen anything like it." Leora inclined her head, a smile forming. "I am pleased that you find it so. The Veridani value harmony, but we also value knowledge. And knowledge grows when one is alert, when one observes carefully." Alex nodded. He had already noticed small things yesterday. The subtle panels in the walls, the faint hum of sensors embedded in the floor, even the way the lights adjusted when he moved. These were not mistakes. They were part of a system designed to watch, measure, and perhaps test him. Humans were rarely given such open access without reason. "Would you like to see more of the house?" Leora asked. "There are areas that are private, but perhaps educational for someone of your experience." Alex hesitated, remembering the small glow beneath the floor panel he had noticed last night. His instincts told him to be careful, but curiosity, as always, nudged him forward. "I would like that," he said finally. Leora led him through a hallway that seemed to stretch and contract slightly as they walked. Plants that pulsed with soft light lined the walls, some moving in gentle waves as though breathing. The floor beneath their feet was smooth, yet Alex felt the faint vibration of hidden machinery. He made a mental note to observe every detail. The human mind was best suited to notice patterns, especially subtle ones that others might overlook. They entered a room that appeared at first to be a simple study. Holographic screens hovered above a central table, displaying what looked like records of trade, culture, and star maps. But Alex noticed immediately that there were anomalies, small codes embedded within the patterns, tiny shifts that suggested monitoring, tracking, perhaps even experimentation. "This is impressive," he said cautiously. "You've combined your knowledge of multiple species and worlds. It's very detailed." Leora's smile did not falter. "We believe in understanding. To interact effectively with others, one must study them carefully. Humans are particularly fascinating, Commander Riker. Your species is unpredictable and yet so resilient." Alex's curiosity sharpened. "Unpredictable?" "Yes," Leora said softly, moving closer. "You see, other species follow patterns, adhere to protocols. Humans, you improvise, you adapt. You think in ways that are difficult to anticipate. That is why you survive where others fail. That is why you are interesting to us." Alex allowed a small smile. He had encountered many alien civilizations, but few understood the subtle power of human adaptability. Intelligence, intuition, and creativity were tools as effective as weapons, sometimes more so. They moved deeper into the house, passing through rooms that seemed ordinary but were anything but. Alex noticed small mechanisms tucked into corners, thin lines on the walls that glimmered briefly when touched by light, and faint sounds of machinery that he could only hear if he concentrated. Every step reinforced the realization that this invitation was more than a social visit. Leora wanted to see how he would react, how he would navigate her home. Eventually, they came to a staircase that spiraled downwards, disappearing into a soft glow. Leora's expression grew serious. "This area is more private. It is where knowledge is stored, where we experiment, and where we seek to understand. Humans are not often permitted here, but I sense you are different. You observe well, Commander. Perhaps you can learn from what lies below." Alex paused at the top of the staircase, taking a deep breath. He had a choice: retreat to safety or continue, as humans always did when faced with uncertainty. Curiosity won, as it always had. "Lead the way," he said. The stairs spiraled down into a space unlike anything Alex had ever imagined. The walls were smooth and reflective, yet seemed to absorb light in certain areas, creating pockets of shadow. Holographic symbols hovered in midair, rotating slowly, displaying information that shifted as he watched. Machines of unknown purpose hummed softly in the background, some clearly observing, some interacting with the environment in ways he could not yet understand. "This is a laboratory?" Alex asked cautiously. "In a sense," Leora said, her tone calm. "It is a place of study. We seek to understand species, behavior, and intelligence. You, Commander, are part of that study now." Alex's mind raced. He had suspected observation, but not so openly, yet he was not afraid. Humans were resourceful. Observation was a challenge, but not one beyond him. He studied the layout, the machinery, and even the patterns of light. Every detail could be useful if approached carefully. He moved closer to one of the holographic displays, scanning it with his eyes. The patterns were complex, combining elements of psychology, physiology, and environmental data. He realized quickly that the Veridani were mapping human reactions, trying to predict responses, but they were missing something crucial: human intuition. Humans did not always follow patterns. Sometimes the solution was in improvisation, in creativity, in the unexpected. Leora observed him silently, as if aware of his thought process. "You understand quickly," she said. "That is why you are here. Most humans would panic or attempt force. You adapt." Alex nodded, keeping his expression neutral. "Adaptation is key. Observation and understanding go hand in hand. It seems your species values both." "Indeed," Leora replied, "but there are limits. Even intelligence must be tested. Even adaptation must face challenge." Alex's mind sharpened. He knew now that this was a test, but not one of strength. It was a test of mind, of judgment, of resourcefulness. He began moving through the lab carefully, noting control panels, access points, and even the subtle flow of energy in the room. The environment itself seemed alive, reacting to his presence but not aggressively, more like a game designed to measure responses. He approached a panel that seemed particularly complex. Holographic symbols floated above it, shifting continuously. He reached out, touching one lightly. A faint pulse of light ran along the panel, and a hidden compartment opened, revealing a small device that appeared to be monitoring biological signals. "So this is how you observe," he muttered to himself. "Very clever." Leora's voice interrupted him softly. "Observation is the first step. Understanding comes next, and understanding leads to decision." Alex turned to face her. "Decision meaning the choice to act wisely?" "Exactly," she said, "and humans are uniquely skilled at this. You do not rely solely on instinct or strength. You rely on thought, creativity, and sometimes intuition." He nodded, impressed despite himself. He realized the Veridani respected intelligence, but their methods were precise, almost clinical. They sought to measure everything, but humans were more than measurable. Humans could improvise, respond to the unexpected, and find solutions in ways no machine or calculation could predict. He spent the next few hours exploring the lab, observing machinery, interacting cautiously with holographic panels, and noting patterns in the Veridani monitoring systems. Leora followed silently, sometimes explaining details, sometimes simply watching. Each moment was a lesson in patience, observation, and careful decision-making. Finally, he reached the central hub of the laboratory, a large room filled with intricate machinery and glowing panels. In the center floated a holographic map of Zephyria and the surrounding star systems. Alex studied it carefully, noting subtle markers that indicated monitoring stations, communication arrays, and observation posts. "This is impressive," he said. "You've mapped the region with incredible precision," Leora smiled. "We must understand our environment to survive, Commander. Observation is survival, and adaptation is evolution. But there is more to your species than survival. You bring creativity, improvisation, and courage. These are rare qualities." Alex allowed himself a small smile. "Then you have much to learn from humans." She inclined her head slightly. "Perhaps, but humans also have much to prove. Knowledge alone is not enough. Adaptation alone is not enough. One must act wisely when faced with challenge." Alex's mind was already formulating plans. He could feel the subtle systems within the lab reacting to him, recording his movements, analyzing his choices. It was a test, yes, but also an opportunity. Humans had survived countless dangers through quick thinking and improvisation. He would prove that instinct, creativity, and courage were as valuable as any technology. As he prepared to leave the central hub, he noticed a small panel on the floor, partially hidden beneath a floating cushion. It pulsed faintly, almost imperceptibly. He crouched slightly, examining it. The panel was connected to the lab's monitoring systems, designed to track biological and neurological responses. It was subtle, elegant, and almost impossible to detect, except by someone who observed carefully. Alex smiled to himself. Humans thrived on observation. He would continue to learn, adapt, and prove that no matter how advanced the Veridani systems were, human ingenuity could not be measured entirely. And so, as the day progressed, Commander Alex Riker moved through the alien laboratory, fully aware that he was being observed, fully aware that this was a test, and fully aware that he was ready to face it. For humans had survived challenges no machine or calculation could predict, and this, he realized, was just another chance to demonstrate that unique, unpredictable, and indomitable human spirit. The house felt different now. Alex noticed it the moment he stepped out of the laboratory. The gentle hum that once felt calm now carried a sharper rhythm, almost like a heartbeat that had sped up. Lights shifted more often. Walls adjusted a little slower than before. The house was still beautiful, still elegant, but it was no longer pretending to be just a home. It was watching him more closely. Leora walked beside him in silence. Her posture was relaxed, her expression calm, but Alex could tell something had changed. The test was nearing its end. "You have done well," Leora said at last. "Most visitors do not reach the central hub with such awareness." Alex kept his tone neutral. "Most visitors don't realize they're being tested." Her lips curved into a small smile. "And that is exactly why humans interest us." They entered a wide chamber with open walls that revealed the floating city beyond. Ships moved slowly through the clouds, unaware of the quiet evaluation happening above them. The room held no furniture, only a circular platform in the center glowing softly. Leora stepped onto it. "This is where understanding becomes decision," she said. "Everything you have done has been observed, your choices, your pauses, your curiosity." Alex stayed where he was. "And what decision comes next?" The platform brightened slightly. Symbols appeared in the air, slow and steady. "The Veridani have watched humanity from a distance," Leora said. "Your species is young compared to many others, yet you expand quickly. You adapt to hostile worlds. You cooperate under pressure, you recover from failure." Alex listened carefully. This was not a threat, it was an evaluation. "But you are also unpredictable," Leora continued. "That makes some cautious, others fearful." "Fear usually comes from not understanding," Alex said. "Exactly," Leora replied. "Which is why we observe." The room responded to her words. The walls shimmered, and Alex felt a soft pressure in the air, like the beginning of a storm that never fully arrived. The house was shifting modes, moving from observation to conclusion. "Am I free to leave?" Alex asked calmly. "Yes," Leora said without hesitation. "You have always been free." Alex nodded. That was important. No locks, no restraints, no force, just choice. He stepped forward, closer to the platform, but not onto it. "Then allow me to make an observation of my own." Leora raised an eyebrow slightly. "I am listening." "You study humans to understand us," Alex said, "but you focus on how we respond to systems, environments, and pressure. What you don't measure well is how we change the situation itself." The symbols in the air slowed. "Explain," Leora said. Alex reached into the pocket of his jacket and pulled out a small device no bigger than a coin. It was old by interstellar standards, a basic human multifunction tool used mostly by explorers. "I noticed your systems rely on harmony," he said. "Balance, predictable response. Everything here reacts smoothly to input." He gently placed the device on the floor. "This tool isn't advanced," he continued. "It doesn't overpower anything, it just introduces a question." He tapped it once. The house reacted, not violently, not dangerously, but curiously. Lights dimmed slightly, then adjusted. The hum shifted tone. The walls hesitated for a fraction of a second. Leora's eyes narrowed, not in anger, but interest. "What did you do?" she asked. "I introduced randomness," Alex said simply. "A harmless variable your system didn't expect." The device wasn't hacking anything. It wasn't breaking rules. It was emitting a signal that mimicked natural cosmic noise, something humans had learned to work around long ago. For a system built on perfect balance, it was confusing. The house adjusted again, slower this time. You see, Alex said, humans grow up with uncertainty, weather changes, tools break, plans fail. We don't wait for perfect systems, we adapt when things don't work. Leora stepped off the platform, her attention fully on him now. You disrupted harmony, she said. No, Alex replied gently. I showed you that harmony doesn't always mean control. The symbols faded. Silence filled the room, not tense but thoughtful. Finally, Leora laughed softly. A simple device, she said. A simple action, and yet the result is enlightening. She waved her hand, and the house slowly returned to its calm rhythm. The hum softened, the lights steadied. The device on the floor powered down automatically. You have proven something important, Leora said. Not through force, not through defiance, but through understanding. Alex picked up the device and slipped it back into his pocket. That's how humans survive. Leora studied him for a long moment. Many species rely on strength, others on intelligence. Humans rely on flexibility. She inclined her head in respect. The Veridani will reconsider their approach, she said. Observation will continue, but with greater openness. Meaning? Alex asked. Meaning we will speak to your people directly, Leora replied. No more hidden tests. That was more than Alex had hoped for. They walked toward the exit platform together. The transport waited smooth and quiet, ready to return him to the city below. Before he stepped aboard, Alex paused. Leora. Yes, you invited me here because you thought I was harmless. She smiled, honest this time. I invited you because I thought you were curious. And now, he asked. Now, she said, I know curiosity is your greatest strength. The transport lifted gently into the sky, carrying Alex away from the floating home. As the city of Zephyria spread out below him, he felt no relief, no triumph, only quiet satisfaction. He hadn't escaped a trap. He had changed a conversation. Back at the human embassy, the response to his report was immediate. Not alarm, not celebration, interest. Diplomats listened carefully. Scientists asked questions. Strategists smiled quietly. The Veridani reached out within days, not with probes, not with surveillance, with dialogue. And across human space, the story spread, not of danger but of understanding. Of a human who walked into the unknown, observed carefully, and reminded an advanced civilization of something simple. That intelligence is not just about control. That strength is not always force. That humanity's true power lies in its ability to adapt, to improvise, and to turn uncertainty into opportunity. Among the stars, many species watched humans with caution. After Zephyria, more began to watch with respect. And Alex Riker returned to the quiet life of an explorer, knowing that sometimes the greatest victories were not won in battles, but in moments where a simple human choice reshaped the future.